Hello everyone, this is Jyotsna. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we will see the JavaScript topic loops. So we'll start with what is loops and what are the different loops we use in JavaScript. So we use loops when you want to run the same code repeatedly, each time with a different value. Means if some of the part of the code which we want to repeat for some different values given as an input, so that time we use the loops in JavaScript. There are five different types of loops we use. First is for loop, where for loops we use for loops when a block of code we need to repeat several times for the given number of times. Then for in loop, where we loops through the properties of an object. Here we use a property of an object to um, loop in through several times. And after that, for off, here it loops through the value of an iterable objects. The fourth one is while loop, where we loop through a block of code while a specific condition is true. And the last one is do while, where here also we loops through the block of code while a specific condition is true. So we will see one by one all the loops with their syntax and one of the example. So starting with for loop. The for loop is the most compact form of looping. So it's a most widely used loop in coding. It includes the following three important parts. First, we'll see the syntax. For is a keyword we use for the loop, and in the bracket we use three types of expressions: expression 1, 2, and 3. So we'll check what are these expressions, and after that, in this curly braces, we write the code block to be executed when the condition is true. So the first expression here is the loop initialization. It gets executed first time only at the start, and when we initialize our counter to a starting value, the initialization statement is executed before the loop begins. So here at the first expression, loop initialization is done. And the second expression, the test statements which will test if a given condition is true or not. Here the condition is checked, means if the condition is true, then it will execute the for loop, and if not, it will come out of the for loop. If the condition is true, then the code given inside the loop will be executed, otherwise the control will come out of the loop. And the next third expression here, this iteration statements where you can increase or decrease your counter for the next round of our um, loop. So these are the three expression which are important. And if you omit the second expression, you must provide a break statement in your code to be executed in this braces. Otherwise, the loop will never end because you are not giving any condition to break the loop, and this will crash your browser or your application. So this is the syntax, and this is the example for the for loop. Here for is a keyword, let is a variable, and I is a variable name is equal to 0. So here in first expression we have initialized, declared and initialized the variable I. And in the expression 2 we have given the condition which is I is less than 5. So this is the condition, and the expression 3, here we are increasing the counter which is the I variable. And here we are giving the executable block of code where text is plus is equal to the number is I, and here we are what we are printing is for this I value from 0 to less than 5, means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all these values of I will get printed as the number is 0, the number is 1, the number is 2, number is 3, and number is 4, because I is less than 5. So when the I value is 5, after 4, when it will again go to this uh, at the start of the for loop to check the condition. Here it will check I is 5, and 5 is less than 5, which is false. So that time it will come out of the for loop. Means here until this condition is satisfied, it is executing this block of code. So whenever we have some function, or we need to write a code where we need to execute the same statements again and again for some some value, that time we can use this for loop. So this is the flowchart given here. So here condition is given. If condition is false, it will just come out of the for loop. And if condition is true, then it will execute this conditional block of code. So this is about the for loop we use in JavaScript. The next is for in. So here it is a extended part of the for loop, where the loop is used to loop through the object properties. So previously we used with the conditions, and here we are using the object for the condition. This is the syntax for variable name is here in object, whichever the object we are initializing. So here in each iteration, one property from object is assigned to variable, this variable name, and this loop continues till all the properties of the objects are exhausted. So in this example, you can see we have the constant variable, and the variable name is person, which contains these three objects. Means first object is first name, which is value is J, then second object is last name Shetty, then next object is ages, which is 10, 25. So these are the three objects and their values. So what we are doing here, we are initializing again, declaring a let variable text, which is currently blank, and we are using this for in loop, where we are using this person as an object and x as a variable. Let x, this is the variable x in this object, means variable name is x and the person is object. And in the block of code, we are getting the value from the object. Here this text value will store now the person x, means the first person, because here this x variable is from the person x, and plus this is for the spacing. So the next it will go and check if x in person has next value, so it will be Shetty. And next again it will go and check if there is another value for the object age. So until all the objects assigned to the variable from the this person variable will get exhausted or get completed, it will go into this for loop. And at the end, it will check that there is no more object assigned. That time it will come out of the loop. So with this, the output will be J first one, and then Shetty, and then 25 with spacing between them. So this is the output for this code. So this is the example for in loop. It is differentiated with the for loop, such that in for in we use the object um, object properties for the loop. So the next is for of loop. Here the JavaScript for of statement loops through the values of iterable objects. Here we iterate through the values of the objects. It lets you loop over iterable data structures such as arrays, strings, maps, node list, etc. For of was added to JavaScript in 2015 ES6, and for of is not supported in Internet Explorer. So this is the syntax for of loop for variable of iterable. Previously we for in loop we used objects. Here we are using variables of iterable, and inside when this condition is true, the code will get executed from this code block. Here the variables are, for every iteration the value of next property is assigned to the variable, and the variables can be declared with constant later var. And the iterable means an object that has iterable properties, such as here example is given here. So this constant variable cars have these values, these are like array values like BMW, Volvo, Mini. So these are the three values which are uh, stored in this car's constant variable. So what we are doing is we are using this for variable to iterate through these car's objects. And here we are declaring one x variable of this cars objects, and we are just iterating through this cars object, taking one value at a time and printing that as our output. So output will be first value BMW, then Volvo, and then Mini. So this will be the output for this for loop. So the next is while loop. The while loops through the block of code as long as a specified condition is true. Here also we check for the condition, and until the condition is true, we will check if the condition is false, then only it will come out of the while loop. So this is the syntax for while loop, while condition, and when the condition is true, it will execute this block of code. And this is the example for the same. While I is less than 5 means till we'll just see the value of I. If it is less than 5, we will execute this block of code. So if I value is 0, and we are checking if 0 is less than 5, then text is equal to the number is 0. Then we are increasing the counter, and again we'll check. Now here the I is value 1. Again we'll check the same. The number is 1. Again plus plus it will be 2. The number is 2. Means until the number is 4, it will the block of code will get executed. And after that, when the number I plus plus number is now 5, then 5 less than 5, here the condition is false. That time it will come out of the loop. So here the while condition now is false. So if you forget to increase the variable used in the condition, the loop will never end and it will crash your browser. So it is important to use the I plus plus this increment, because if you don't use that, this value will be less than 5 always, and it will go into the infinite loop. This is the flowchart for the same while start while condition. If condition is true, it will execute these commands, and if not, it will go and come out of the while loop. So this is about the while loop in JavaScript. The next is do while loop. So here we are using do while loop as a variant of the while loop, and this loop will execute the code block once before checking if the condition is true. Then it will repeat the loop as long as the condition is true. So previously what we were doing, that we are checking the condition in while and then executing the code. But here we are executing one part of the code before checking the condition in do. So we are using this do keyword, and inside the do block we are executing this block of code, and after that we are checking the while condition, and after that we are doing the same do expression until the condition is true. So here one of the example is given. So here we are checking if the number is I, where I plus plus. So I is if I have initialized I as a 0 first, and then I'm going through this code. So first I will print this number is 0, then while now the number is 1, and while I is less than 5, I will go and iterate this do um, block. So this will be the output 0, a number is 1, the number is 2, the number is 4, and the number is 3 and 4. So when the number is 5, it will come out of the loop. So this is one of the example for do while loop, and this is the flowchart for the same. So this is all about the loops in JavaScript. So most of the time the programmers use is for loop and a while loop. These are the most widely used loops, and which are the very important topics for the interview purpose also. Thank you so much for watching the video.